All right, welcome back everyone. My name is Pratesh here with Kaizen Crypto, bringing you another video. So here today we're going to be taking a look at the Cardano pledge and business costs. So my thoughts on staking and investing within the Cardano ecosystem. All of that is here in this video, so stay tuned. All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining me here today. I hope you guys are all doing well. So what I wanted to share with you all, so now these are just some of my thoughts. I went ahead and created a visual representation of what I think would be an appropriate number for a Cardano pledge. And then we're also going to take a look at some business expenses that you can anticipate in the instance that you are going to be operating a stake pool. So to get things started, many members in the community, particularly stake pool operators, are debating on what would be an appropriate number for the Cardano pledge. Unfortunately, this is not something that we saw featured on the incentivized testnet. I think that it would provided much more clarity as to some of the basic requirements as we go forward into mainnet, but nonetheless, still very relevant to be able to discuss these things. I would recommend, or I would implore, if you are able to provide any type of constructive criticism or feedback to this video, I would love to know your thoughts. Let me know down in the comments section about all of this. So a little bit of background, what is pledge? So right now we're currently operating on the incentivized testnet, and we are anticipating a transition from the Rust codebase over to the Haskell codebase. Right now we're anticipating friends and family to be up and running on May 11th, after which, having tested for a certain amount of time, we're gonna have the Haskell codebase on the incentivized testnet available to all stake pool operators. So now the concept of pledging, I'm going to do a little bit of reading here. I went ahead and put all these slides together to give you guys a bit of a visual representation. So pledging is where a stake pool operator delegates their personal stake to their pool and registers a pledge address when they register the stake pool with the Cardano Foundation. So when registering a pool, the pool operator can decide to pledge some of his personal stake to the pool. Pledging more will slightly increase the potential rewards of his pool. So this means that pools whose operators have pledged a lot of stake will be a little bit more attractive. So if an attacker wants to create dozens of pools, he will have to split his personal stake into many parts, making all of his many pools less attractive, thereby causing people to delegate to pools run by honest stakeholders instead. And then I've went ahead and left the source here for this article. I'm going to link these in the description below as well. If you are a stake pool operator, there's lots of information just from the IOHK website. I'm on Twitter a lot trying to find out information. You can follow me at KAIZN Crypto. I retweet a lot of this stuff. Rick, Philippe at the Cardano Effect podcast do a great job of keeping stake pool operators informed, so definitely check out their content. So now, what is the purpose of a pledge? So if we take a look at it, why is this even being talked about? So a pledge is an incentive mechanism that is within the protocol for Cardano to prevent a Sybil attack. A Sybil attack is a type of attack seen in peer-to-peer networks in which a node in the network operates multiple identities actively at the same time and undermines the authority or power in reputation systems. The main aim of this attack is to gain the majority of influence in the network to carry out illegal actions in the system. So one idea might be to make pool registration very expensive, but to prevent attacks, such fees would need to be extremely high and would prevent honest people from creating legitimate pools. Such a hurdle would be bad for decentralization, so we want to encourage members of our community to start their own pools and not hinder their entry. There does have to be a modest fee for the simple reason that each registration certificate has to be stored on the blockchain and will consume resources which have to be paid for. So I found a lot of this information also on IOHK's blog, and then this website right here, I will leave a link to that as well. Now, I went ahead and took a look at some different metrics. There's a lot of information available online regarding active addresses, stake pool operators, whatnot. So I went ahead and linked those, two of the best resources for you, pooltool.io and adascan.net. So what I did here, just trying to figure out what is a fair pledge amount. So I guess that's the main question that we're all trying to figure out. And keep in mind the context of the information in this video. Currently, the ADA price is around about 5 cents. So just keep that in mind as we go through all this information here. I went ahead and got the current Cardano stake pool count, which as of right now, according to Pool Tool, is about 971. So I just went ahead and rounded up to 1,000. I think it's an easier number to work with. And then if we take a look also, I went and found the top 1,000 Cardano address. If we take a look here, this is the balance for the top 1,000 Cardano address, almost 3 million ADA. So with a current price of 5 cents, that would put you at an equivalent of $150,000. So now whether or not this person purchased his bag at this price point is beyond me, but it's just more of a visual representation to show you where we're at in terms of top 1,000 Cardano addresses. Now, if we look at it, 3 million ADA for pledge is not realistic for most stake pool operators. I mean, me personally, I'm not, unfortunately, I'm working my way up to that financial standpoint, but that's not where I'm at, in terms of trying to start a business. Having this much upfront capital in order to invest just to get off the ground, it's just not realistic. So now, what's another metric we can use? I was watching one of the Cardano Effect podcasts the other day, and one of the members in the community said that right now, we know for a fact that staking on Ethereum, there's a minimum requirement of 32 Ethereum that's required that you would need in order to operate a node. And if we take a look, the current Ethereum price, roughly speaking, is about $208. So I think this allows for a very good metric to go off of. If we look at a similar protocol such as Ethereum, 32 Ethereum times 208 individual price would put you at a cost of 6,656. And then if we translate that over into Cardano terms, so 6,656 divided by 5 cents, that would put you around the ballpark of 133,000 ADA. So to me, this makes a little bit more sense. It would seem to be more realistic than something like 3 million. But, again, this is all arbitrary. So this is all subjective, completely just in the air randomness, trying to figure out what makes sense for most people. And, $6,000, again, upfront initial cost, to some people, that's quite an investment. So that begs the question, what do you think is a fair number? Me personally, so I'm looking at 100,000 to 150,000. I think that would make sense, for what we're looking at here in terms of upfront investment. It makes sense to have a 6-figure initial stake pledge for stake pool operators, but that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments section below. Now, that's my thoughts on the pledge for Cardano as a stake pool operator. That's not including the cost of maintaining hardware or your electricity. So I wanted to go over some of the different things that I'm looking at as far as costs of doing business. Now, if we consider the pledge, so for the sake of this video, hypothetically, let's say we do anticipate a pledge of anywhere from 100K to 150K ADA. That would put you in terms of dollar terms right now, with current price being at 5 cents, is about $5,000 to $7,500. Now, let's also consider that in order to operate a stake pool, you're going to need to spend capital on hardware. And there are a few different options if you are going to be trying to operate a stake pool. Namely, we're going to be looking at bare metal servers. You can look at a VPS or a virtual private server. You can look to build something locally at your own home. You can have your own stake pool operating with an Intel PC or any type of Linux-based operating system. Or in a lot of instances too, we're trying to figure out how to get this thing running on a Rock Pi. Rock Pi being, of course, the most cost-effective option, but we have yet to be seeing the Rock Pi running the Cardano on mainnet. Right now we're running on testnet, but it's a matter of being able to figure out if it is actually going to work on such a cost-effective hardware option. So now, bare metal servers, renting those on average, guys, this is just a rough estimate. If you are renting a bare metal server, potentially $100 to $200 per month, or purchasing it outright for $1,000 to $3,000. VPS, depending on the different services that you choose, most often than not, about $20 to $40 per month. Local build, I went ahead and fired up Amazon, seeing if I can find a budget build. So I went ahead and pulled different parts together. I came out with a budget build for building my own node specifically for running Cardano stake pool, closer to around $1,000. Rock Pi, of course, you can pick one up for a little less than $100. So those are the different cost options for hardware. And if we take a look also, electricity is going to be a factor as well. Now, electricity is going to vary depending on where you are in the world. I live here in the US. Quick Google search, average 12 cents per kilowatt hour is the cost for electricity in the US. So, to be able to figure out what it is that we're looking at on a yearly basis, I used a gaming PC. Now, consider also a gaming PC is going to draw a little bit more energy just because if you are running high-end graphics. But I figured it would probably be something equivalent if your node is up and running 24/7. So, electricity, pledge, and hardware. Let's take a look. Let's crunch some numbers. So now let's say if we're looking at 100,000 ADA pledge. So potentially $5,000 initial investment just to lock up your ADA within your stake pool. Hardware itself, just for what it's worth, I went ahead and found some parts on Amazon. I think that's most likely what whoever is going to try and get started with this is going to look at as a beginner option. Maybe $1,000. And then electricity, of course, it does vary depending on your location, maybe $168 per year. So initial cost, we'd be looking at $6,168. So now what I want to do is go ahead and head over to the Shelley Incentivized Testnet calculator. Okay, so we are here on the Shelley Incentivized Testnet Rewards Calculator. This is to help gain a visual understanding of what it is that we're looking at in terms of the math involved with operating a stake pool. So now what I've got here, we want to run a stake pool, and the amount of ADA that we were talking about as far as a minimum I would think for pledge is 100,000 ADA. So I went ahead and added that here. Stake pool fixed fee. Currently, Kaizen stake pool is operating a $0 pool fixed fee. And let's say, this could all change as we are still currently on testnet. Right now, Kaizen stake pool is operating with about 15 million delegated ADA. So I went ahead and chose the closest option to that. Stake pool total stake is at 0.2%. Now this is based on the entire network, so the total available to stake. And if we take a look at it also, I'm using metrics that we're using here for my particular stake pool on the testnet. Right now, the reward percentage, we're running at 2% reward percentage. So after inputting all those different metrics here, we can see running costs. Of course, we're charging 0 ADA fixed fees. Stake pool operation rewards. So this gives us an idea of what we're looking at for the rewards over time. We've got the daily, monthly, and yearly. And keep in mind, this is an estimate. It's a rough idea. And then the delegation rewards. So the rewards that you're going to earn on that 100,000 ADA, that's this here. So per year, about 11,248. And then per year for stake pool operation rewards, about 50,000. So on an annual basis, we're looking at these two numbers right here in terms of return on investment for operating a stake pool. So let's go back to that infographic and let's take a look and see where we stand. So now what we saw was the stake pool operation rewards per year roughly is going to be about 50,000 ADA. And then delegation rewards for putting up 100,000 initial as pledge is going to be about 11,250 per year. So where does that leave us after 1 year of operating 24/7? Total ADA rewards per year is going to be about 61,245. Now, if we consider currently the price of ADA is about 5 cents, that would mean that on a US dollar terms, we're earning about $3,062. With the data that we've been looking at in terms of cost of operating the business, it would take, according to this data, approximately 2 years to recover our initial investment in terms of dollars. So with that being said, is it worth it? I know this is all objective and it's very arbitrary. It's just a matter of figuring out what is the exact number. So in order to get a better understanding of if it is worth it to run a stake pool, I think we need an exact number to know for sure. But that is what I have for you guys here in this video. Let me know any thoughts that you have down in the comments section below. Hopefully you did find some value from this. If you were contemplating operating a stake pool and thinking about getting one started, hopefully this gives you a better understanding of what you might need to look at before you can get things going. If you guys are new to the channel and if you enjoy content like this, be sure to smash that like button and hit that subscribe button. That way you can stay updated with content like this as we go forward here to launching Shelley on mainnet. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.